have the remote controller, we have the dog's receiver training collar, we have the collar itself, we have the antenna for the transmitter, which is the remote, we have the battery for the receiver, we have the studs, shock studs for the receiver and a testing pole, and we have the instruction sheet. Alright, let's take a look at the remote. First thing, 9-volt battery is already in, so let's correct the position. You can see the diagram inside shows you how it should be correctly placed. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Now let's turn around and test the unit to make sure the battery's okay. There you go. Battery's fine. Attach the antenna. And the remote is ready for use. We placed the battery in, as you've seen. We put the cover back on. Now let's test the receiver to make sure it's working. We use the middle button of the remote that we use to pair, and we go like this, and you can see the system's paired and we're getting the vibrate, which is the function of the middle button. In addition, we have 3 shock levels. The largest button gives us the highest shock level, the middle button gives us the middle shock level, and the smallest button gives us the smallest shock level. And maybe if you want to come closer, you can even hear it. Well, let's see if you can hear this. Okay, so the receiver comes with 4 shock studs and a test pole. We have large shock studs for thick furred dogs and small shock studs for thin furred dogs. We'll set it up with the large shock studs. Okay. After we've attached the shock studs, we want to make sure that the unit is actually working. So, we can put our test bulb here, in between the shock studs, and then we can do the shock, and you can see that light. I'll get that closer for you. There you go. And you can see the light of the bulb comes on. That's showing us that the shock is working. Okay, if we found that the remote is working, the battery is powering the remote, in addition we found that the receiver is indeed powered and working, but we don't seem to have a connection between the two, that might mean we need to do a manual reset. So, we can take the cover off the receiver. There's a manual reset button, and we can take something thin and long like a toothpick and press the manual reset for 5 seconds to reset the receiver. There you go, 5 seconds. Now we've reset the receiver. You can see the flash is more intense this time. Now we can try to see if our remote has paired with the receiver, which should be done within 30 seconds of your reset. Make sure it's active. We press, and we're paired, and let's try the shock. And the shock works too. Now we have a good setup. We also want to make sure that when we've paired, that the remote has all the buttons working, both on the left side as well as the right side. If for some reason one side of buttons does not work, then we also need to do a manual reset. So let's go ahead and attach the collar. Stop. Okay, so attach the collar this way. And it's an adjustable color. You can make it bigger. Not very easily. Maybe we can cut this part out. There we go. We're making it bigger for a bigger dot.